businesses. I guess you can because there's so many people in this world. But truly, if you want a first-class business to pick up the middle-class clientele, give us something.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Honestly, um, it's exactly because many big enterprises are cutting costs on customer service. For us, small and medium enterprises who want to thrive and grow bigger and make a difference, uh, we actually, on the other hand, invest a lot more on customer service. And I've seen a very successful company in China doing hot pot. Because I don't know if you ever heard of that. Heidi Now. It's a hot pot enterprise in China. What the food is just not much different to than other hot pot restaurant chains, but the service is extremely crazily good, and they're getting listed because of the service being too good. A lot of people just miss the good service, the dining experience that they cannot get in other restaurants. So I think that this is also our directions, especially after hearing Kim, what you said tonight. I really need to think about more incentive scheme, how to make our staff to greet the customers better, to be more caring to the customers better, to make a difference. So there's a noise among all these good guests, mouth of, spread of mouth. That's really important. I think. Well, people, some enterprise are giving up this part, so we take on it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so many enterprises have cut out that
Yeah.
important empathy part. And
Yeah.
quite honestly, it's just the human factor, right? The HI, what I call the human
Yeah.
intelligence, right? We have AI. I think we overuse AI and abuse what it's really intended for. AI should be used to make our jobs quicker and more efficient. But it
Mhm.
shouldn't replace humans by any means. It should
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
replace. But the thing about the human factor is that we're all human. And when we buy something, at the end of the day, I want to feel like I'm a human, not that I'm a number. And I think we lost that somewhere in growth. We took that away. And I think that the companies that come back with it are going to be the companies that come back stronger because I will do business with people who are going to be people oriented moving forward. And I found that I didn't have to do a lot of advertising when I ran my business because of that, and truly because we inspired people to stay with us, not to leave us. And the only reason why I closed the company was regulations made it too complicated for the small companies to stay in business. It was too expensive. The big companies were given all the freedom without money, having to pay for things, and the small companies were regulated in such a way that we had to pay more money for the same luxuries. So I finally saw the writing on the wall and decided it was time to move on and do something different. But I learned a lot, and people want to be treated with a lot more respect, and I think that will make a big difference in any industry. But I look forward to seeing what happens in your world, Ron. And you're welcome to, because I'm loving this conversation. But who do we have as another guest here? I can't see the name.
Still Jim.
So I would like to welcome Anuj Kamboj joining us from Delhi, India. Hi Anuj, good evening. How are you doing?
Hi, very good evening,
Good
everyone. How are you?
evening.
Welcome to IBM TV. All
Oh,
good, all
thank you
well.
very much. Yes, all is very well.
So
We
Anuj,
are
can you introduce about yourself? What do you do? Where are you from?
right.
To our viewers.
So I'm an entrepreneur who works in clean tech, and we specifically work in solar industry, and we work on a very small sector which is very niche, called solar process heat application. So what we do is we put up boilers that run on solar heat and replace industrial boilers that primarily use coal or natural gas.
Oh,
So
wow.
we have put up one plant uh, in southern part of India in one of the largest private dairy companies in South India, and there we are producing steam for uh, milk drying plant. They have a milk powder plant, and that's what I have done. And what now we are doing is we are working on solar applications. So we are not specifically working on the just selling energy like you see, a lot of times in the newspaper that big solar plants that sell electricity, but we are working on recovering pure water from industrial wastewater using solar heat. So
No,
we are.
That's wonderful.
that's the way the whole world needs to go. Congratulations.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
I'd
much.
love to see every building in the world using solar. I don't know why we're not, and to have rooftop gardens, especially if they're flat, that service the community, right? That because we have rooftop gardens that are being built here by Jim Goodnight, which is the founder of SAS. And when he builds a building now, one of the rooftops part sections will be designed to collect water. And that water is
Right.
ran through a filtration system in the roof, and that water goes into the building to service the building, right? And he has a whole solar farm that can generates the power for the whole city if they wanted it to. So solar definitely is, to me, the I don't understand why we haven't moved forward faster. But what have you found in your research and your launching of a business here? Share
Well,
with us.
you see, the thing is that India is a very complicated country, and some of you might not be exactly aware, but in India, we have about 30 official languages and a very complicated culture. So, also, when we are working in India, cost is a very big factor. And the just to give you a comparison, in United States, I could probably get a 15 to 20-year loan on solar project for 4%, 4 to max 4.5. In India, I got a loan for 12%. So that makes things harder in the long run. It's unfortunate that a poor country has to pay more. So there are a lot of challenges, and I feel that by having worked in one of the most complex markets, I'm very much ready to enter United States or Australia or certain parts of Africa, which have the right solar radiation. So, and most importantly, most businesses that can actually afford solar are not interested in doing solar because they feel that they have this inertia of not changing. There are a lot of large business houses and corporations that do not want to change. You'll be absolutely surprised. A company like Unilever, which is probably by far the largest FMCG company in the world, they look for return on investment, ideally within 2 years. That means 50% return on investment. So I asked them, when you put money in the bank, which they obviously do because they have so much money, you get, at least they're London based, so probably you get 2%. Even if you put in India, you get 6%. So how can you ask for? Sorry.
Go ahead. How can you ask for what?
So
Tim, I think
how can you ask
Ron
for
needs to leave, so we
50%?
should say bye to Ron, and we can resume with Anuj. Ron, thank you for joining us,
Thank
and
you,
we would love
Ron.
to host you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
You.
thank
Thank
you.
you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the
Namaste.
rest of your
Come
day. Yeah.
back. Come
Yeah.
back.
Okay. Cheers.
Come back.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Wow, that was informative on the hotel industry. Maybe we can get solar on to what they're doing,
Yeah.
especially the pods, right? But and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but something that you said that to collaborate with other countries that are doing things in this, maybe more freely. And I'm going to give you a heads up that the U.S. does not do this freely. They put a lockdown on solar several years ago, and they instituted laws that even prevent people from doing solar in their own homes and taking themselves off the grid. So they can be arrested in some states for building solar power to their home without going through the power company. So we're not as free as you think we are for innovating
Now,
technology.
Kimberly, I'll give you what part of the United States are you from?
So I live in North Carolina, but I worked with someone who had a solar patent. And we found out real quick that every state was banning people from and putting them under arrest if they installed solar on their own without the power company being involved.
And there's a
Yeah,
reason
no,
for
that's the
that,
case
and
in
that's
India as well.
Go ahead, Jim.
Sorry.
oh, I was going to say that the reason in the United States is we have this fossil fuel industry that is very politically connected, and so the laws seem to favor them, and instead of a green industry like solar, and so it's very difficult for us. And I wondered if the fossil fuel industry is a problem in India.
Actually, uh, we do not. It is not much of a problem right now because I do a lot of policy research in energy as well. So, from my experience, what I see is that uh, in India, the fossil fuel industry, the mining is primarily done by the government-owned company. You see, in India, most of the states, the large ones, are owned by the government because we have this. We were a socialist country, and we still have a significantly large socialist hangover, unlike the United States. So, in India, not necessarily fossil fuel, but there's a very strange thing that solar. Everybody wants solar to be very, very cheap, much cheaper than fossil fuel. It's already about 25 to 30% cheaper, and they want it even cheaper than that. So, at current prices, there's absolutely no reason why solar should not be installed anywhere in the world. Especially in places like California, Texas, and even North Carolina, South Carolina. It got very good radiation, and now one of our uh, advisors, he's a technologist, and he's working on panels that are the next thing that is coming in solar. So they do not involve having silicon, because this silicon is same as what you have in your electronic mobile phones and everything else. Hence, all of it is dependent on China. Most of the silicon for solar panels and for electronics comes from China, Taiwan, little United States, a little bit of Israel. So China has this power, to bring the prices down, to destroy other markets, or to take the prices up when they want and put tariffs on certain countries for certain industries. So what these panel technologies called is called perovskites, perovskites. Now this technology is nothing but screen printing. You use pretty conventional screen printing technology and very simple uh, organic and some metallic chemicals, and you print it, and then you have a panel. So it has lower efficiency currently, like 10%, but in actuality, in on field, it gives you same amount of electricity that other panels do. So let us say in 10 years from now, you will have very small scale factories around your neighborhood that are actually printing solar panels, and your facade of the house, which is south facing in part of will be generating electricity. So electricity, from my vantage point of what I know, is not really a challenge. The challenge is the system integration and to store electricity. you know so what we as a company are doing is we are integrating the energy generation with the end use, and the end use is uh, like water filtration. So we directly link solar with water filtration, so that whenever the sun shines, your water starts cleaning, and when the sun sets, the water stops, you know for industries. Second thing what we're doing, which is very interesting for United States, is especially for Texas and certain parts of US, is we are going to store ice using panels and run air cons. Now, for example, you said in United States they arrested some people because they put solar. Now the reason for that is that the utility can stop you from putting electricity into the grid. So when you are not at home and the sun is shining, what do you do with the electricity? It doesn't make economic sense if you waste that and let it go into the ground. So you feed it into the grid. and the grid doesn't allow it. So that affects the economics. So that way, the electric companies have a hold over you, and make you and force you to buy energy or solar panels from a particular company, do a project execution from a particular company where they have shares and so on and on. What I'm saying is, your major electric consumption is heating or cooling. Now, if we have an air con system that stores ice during the day when the sun shines, in the evening when you switch on your air con, your compressor doesn't work. You just get cooling from ice, and from inside it looks like a normal air con from the functioning point of view. So instead of using expensive batteries, we want cooling. So why not store energy in the form of cooling? Why do we store batteries? And what can be cheaper than ice? In a steel box, it will last 20 years.
I agree. I mean, there are so many ways to do this. You can even go to the thermal underground, right? And you can take from a cavity underground, which is cool, and run that air back into your home. If just make sure it's clean, right? But there's so many different ways that we can do this. But it's a means of doing it and cost effectively. I will share with you one of the things that with the solar that they have done here in the United States is they do want the power companies to give it back to you. In my personal opinion, if I produce too much energy and I just store it in my home, it's none of their dang business, and they shouldn't. If I don't want to give it to them, then there's no loss to them. They can build their own, but they make us buy from their power companies, and it will cost me $85,000, they say, to put the solar panels on a house that to generate the power I need and sell back to them. Whereas it would cost me, I already know this, $5,000 for the panels and the battery storage, because you need battery storage. You don't just send energy to nothing. And so it cost me $5,000 to install my own. So I'm not saying that there's a conspiracy. I'm just saying that they regulated the laws so that they make all the money, not us. And
Follow the money. Follow the money.
$85,000 to do the same thing if it only cost me $5,000. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem.
Kimberly, there's actually a systemic problem here.
Yeah,
so I'm not defending the utility, but I don't know how many of you guys are actually from the computer science background or electrical engineering. Okay, you are. Great.
40 years.
Computer science. I never went to college. I dropped out. So in my first few months in college, so I practically learned on my own. So Mr. Rakesh, are you also from computer science?
I'm a physicist.
Oh, perfect. That's even better. So you're a generalist in technology. So actually, so one of my hobbies is, this is not a company, it's something I'm working on with a group of people, is we are working on a meter, electric meter, that basically does analog to digital signal conversion and can learn about every appliance in your house, and then it can talk to your solar panels and manage your all storage technologies. So now we can have this meter as a service on each house, which can predict after a year or two of data that how much energy this house will be consuming. And this can help utilities shut down a couple of power plants around the world. So the biggest problem now with energy industry is not solar, is not technology, not from the energy generation technology. It's actually computation. So energy industry, unfortunately, is so backward compared to many other industries. That your electric meter that you have around your house, even if you call it smart meter, the so-called smart meter, all it does is it does analog to digital conversion, and what you get is an approximate bill. It's not even your actual electric energy consumption. But with the current prices of your microprocessors, your current transformers, and so on and on, my calculation was that I could make an electric meter if I had at least 20,000 pieces or above order for less than $30 US.
Yeah.
And yeah, but then even installing and everything, we could do it for less than $60 if we had a mass order. And this, with the right OS like FreeRTOS or something, Linux-based system, it could talk to your appliances, and it could tell you that now, since you have less storage, this is the sunshine, please shut off this appliance. It could start your washing machine in the night or in the daytime when the sun is shining, and so on and on. So this is so we want to bring this meter into the market in a very DIY way.
Yeah, and there is a lot in smart technology that we could submit to people to do it themselves, or to reduce the cost. And I think generally, though, the power companies are not there, or the government is not there to influence what I call the real smart technology. And I was part of Smart Cities, which was part of NIST, National Institute of Standards Technology, out of DC. I was pretty impressed with Dr. Reed, because I think he really had good intentions of bringing real smart technology to people. I think what he didn't realize is how much bureaucracy, I can't pronounce this word, bureaucracy, and
Yes.
Politics play in the pocketbook of people's lives. And a lot of what they called smart technology that went out into our homes, that was somebody's whatever relative, brother, best friend that needed a little pat on the back and some money to get it out there. But it wasn't real smart. And I don't agree with any government or any utility company should own my rights to the sun. I just don't agree with it. And
I agree.
And I think that, go ahead, Rakesh.
Oh, so sorry. I was just thinking about a fact that just came up to my head. That Britain today is now free of fossil fuel energy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Britain is free of fossil fuel. Britain, the United Kingdom, is free of fossil fuel energy today. It doesn't use any coal. It uses wind power, and it uses solar power. So as of I saw this in the newspaper. I don't know how accurate it is, but since you're in this line, so I just thought I'd mention it. It's obviously a more receptive government than the United States government. Germany is looking at alternative sources because they've closed their last nuclear power plant some week, maybe a month ago, and I just was looking at, if you're looking at markets, I was just trying to pass on some tips. I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
That's a brilliant idea, though, to look at where the people are investing in the technology, maybe not your own country, but other countries. I have a solar product that is portable. It kind of meant to get around some of the regulations that are out there. And you could literally attach it. You could use it camping. You could use it, to build your shed, or to take it in an emergency situation to filter water, because it's designed to filter water too. But it's a solar power generator, and it's very quiet, no gas, no anything, that can literally operate a full 3-bedroom house, 2-bathroom, and if you need to pump water, it pumps at 3 gallons per minute, which is unheard of in most situations. So, it was purely invented for survival reasons, but to get around the laws that were being put in place, because you could roll it up and connect it to your house and use it. You didn't have to go through the full installation or anything. So, but I think. Go ahead,
Rakesh.
I know that in New Zealand, we are the whole country is green oriented.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that, Anuj, if you're looking for a market there, I'll be back in New Zealand probably by the end of this year. I could do some spade work for you if you're open to the idea.
Yeah, we should
I like that term,
email.
spade work.
Mr. Rakesh,
I have 2 other market ideas.
Yes,
I have 2 other market ideas. One is, this is brilliant for Africa. Obviously, there's a lot of sun and there's a lot of poverty. And so inexpensive delivery of energy to Africa would be wonderful. And the other thing is, the United States as a nation is not very supportive of this, but California as a state is. And if you talk to Governor Newsom, you would have an open mind. And if California fancies ourselves as a leader in the country in trends, setting trends.
And they are.
It's a global leader.
It is
a global
California.
leader.
And just to share with you a little secret, and Nick's not here, but he would be the one to bring this up, is that when you come here for venture capital, California has 80% of the venture capital, whereas North Carolina has less than 0.05%. Less than 0.05% of all the venture capital in the United States comes here. But in California is 80%. So
hit up California. Our PG&E, that's our utility company. It's having massive problems, and so a simple solution to as an alternative that people could choose. As Kimberly often points out, we are indentured servants in many ways, and we want to be able to choose. And if you pitch this to our state government, I think you will find that you have a receptive ear.
Well, that governor is very open to things like that as well. So, and you'll find Nevada might be a little bit open too. It just depends on who the governor is. But what you're doing is phenomenal, and and needs to be done. And you'll get a lot of support from people like us and the community. We'll help get you connected. I would just say, enter each country with an open mind that it may reject you because of certain things, and just find the right people like Jim and Rakesh to help you meet the right people and go forward. But no, the solar industry, I know what I wanted to tell you about. There's a conference that you should go to and bring your idea to, and it's called CERA, CERA, week. CERA week. And of course, it was canceled this year, but is the world's leaders in oil, gas, energy, oil, gas, and energy, and power. All right. And when I say world's leaders, I mean when the people come in, they literally lock the place down for a block with, 500 police officers. But you need to apply early, get your technology introduced early, and they have what they call a startup industry for alternative power sources. And Japan is looking at these things. China was there. They were looking at these things. So India, they're all there looking at the alternative. So definitely get your name in with CERA. It's called CERA Week.
I will definitely check it out.
Please. And if you want to go, contact me because I go every year. It's $7,000 to get in. You pay $7,000 to attend, but it's worth it. Nick, you've never been. I'm talking about CERA Week.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. $7,000 is a lot of money, to go to a conference. Are you kidding me?
People pay $10,000 to go to CES.
That's the reason 90% of the startups fail. They do stuff like that. No way.
Yeah,
spend $7,000 to go to a conference. Find a way to go there. Okay, listen. If you're a startup, you got to be parsimonious. Hold every dollar. Okay, and no, I wouldn't go to the conference.
You can buy 5,000 shares of General Electric.
But see, 5,000 shares of General Electric. Okay, it'll be actually that might be a better investment, but still, 5,000 shares of General Electric will not produce the return of your own business.
$10,000 to go to CES, and CES has got 100 million people that will.
Yeah, and they have a lot of failures. The thing is, the reality. Okay, Andrew, if you're a startup, here's the reality: 95% chance you won't be in business in 5 years. Okay, so you got to be real. Jim, am I right?
It happened to me.
Okay, right.
You're
They do.
talking about before coronavirus. I think now
It doesn't matter. Coronavirus, non-coronavirus, it doesn't matter. Your failure rate's 95%. Okay. So the thing is,
I would say even 98.
And that's if you're funded. Okay. If you're not funded, go even higher. So the thing is, the odds of success are extremely poor. Now, pardon?
Doom and despair.
No, it's not doom and despair. It's reality.
We have to rename the show.
Okay, it's reality, Andrew. It's reality. Okay, now I've done three million and multi-million-dollar startups. Okay, bootstrapping. Listen, Andrew, bootstrapping. Do you know how hard it is to bootstrap me? No, I didn't get any venture capital. Maybe this is number 4. I don't know. Okay, but one reason why, and I've watched all the ones that were successful, they hold on to capital. Number 1. Number 2, is your business a service, or is it, or are you providing hard goods? Hard goods or service? It's what?
Hard goods.
Hard good?
The question is whether it's a product or a service.
If it's a product, failure rate's even higher. Service, you have a chance.
Chess books, forget it.
There you go, Joe. Chess books, forget it. No.
This is my 4th startup.
Oh, have you been successful in your prior starts? By the way, good that you have a track record. How have your other startups gone? No.
That's okay. Don't worry.
Okay.
Keep hitting them. Keep hitting them. One will turn out. I know good people who run 3 or 4 at the same time.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, at least you understand that the failure is a high probability. Otherwise, you wouldn't have 4 unsuccessful ones. I mean, that's the brutal reality of it.
Knowledge. You learn.
Okay. Selling a service has a higher probability of being successful than selling a hard product. If you're selling a hard product, you have COGS in your way, cost of goods sold. Okay, and that stuff, like you're selling this product. It's a very expensive product to sell because it's cost of goods sold. If you're selling a service, your probability of success is a lot greater. In other words, I would rather say, I'm the servicing technician of your cell phone. Higher probability of success than I'm going to sell you the cell phone. Lower probability of success.
Well, so the probability of investors there too, if you're selling services as opposed to hardware is obsolete.
It's the hard reality of startups. I mean, the thing is, and I don't think people tell them the truth. And the truth is, the truth is you're probably going to fail. Okay, now the thing is, what's your unique selling proposition? What makes you different than everybody else out there? What is it?
Well,
I can't hear.
Actually, I'm just telling you. So, we are only 3rd company in the world that has a technology to recycle pure water from wastewater using solar heat. And we are not selling the product, we are selling it as a service.
Okay, right. Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay, so the thing is, it's all about sales. So it's all about sales. And so the thing is, you need contacts and be able to sell. And unfortunately, when you're doing government bids, you said there's 2 other competitors, right?
Well, no, we are not doing government bid. In general, this technology right now, only 2 more companies in the world have, and we are developing it. We have already developed it with a university, and the reason why I feel I have better chances than before is that we are not going to sell the tech, because if I go to a company and say that, buy this high-tech water treatment system and blah, 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 they say, we are a motorbike company or we are a textile company.
Sure.
We don't want to invest in a high-tech membrane technology that we cannot understand.
Right.
So what I say is, guys, you don't have to invest. You pay $1,000 a month to treat this amount of water.
Mm-hmm.
You pay me $600 a month, and no down payment. And this is I call it water as a service.
Right.
So this is infrastructure as a service.
Okay.
So this is one tech, and other tech we have is solar-based cooling. So there we are targeting data centers. So what we are doing is through solar energy in real time, we are making ice and storing cooling energy in ice. And then what we do is when the sun sets down, the compressor stops. Then you are essentially getting energy only from ice. Again, here, this model is called cooling as a service. So here we are not going to be selling technology because nobody really wants to buy tech. They all want to lease it. So this comes under the category of infrastructure as a service. So 2 of our projects are funded by partially funded by Government of India and partially bootstrapped by us as a demonstration and proof of concept.
Okay. All right. So the thing is, so the key thing is posting sales. If you already have the product, you got to be able to sell.
Yep.
Okay. Because if you don't make a sale, there's no revenue. There's no revenue to pay anybody. Do you have a website and you have a product to demonstrate?
Yep.
Okay. Or have you made any sales?
Well, we already have a project running in southern India, but that was almost at no profit, no loss, because that was our first project.
Okay. All right. So you've actually done one project so far.
Yeah. It's running since 2 years.
Oh, really?
And there we are selling heat. So we are selling process heat.
Okay.
So we produce, we are replacing a coal boiler. By when the sun shines, the boiler shuts down and we produce steam from the sun.
Oh, really? Okay.
So this is the only project that is currently running in India for process heat application for industries.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So you already have one beta test out that you can show people then.
Yeah, but we haven't been able to get more sale after that project till now, because in parts of India where you have good sunshine, nobody's ready to give you land.
Right.
So, which is why we have innovated the product now that you can put it on the rooftop, solar panels, and sell water or sell cooling.
Mm-hmm.
So we address the problem that we learned later about the land availability and redesign the systems. And now we are not going to sell solar projects. Now we're going to sell water, or we're going to sell cooling.
Okay.
Because so it's basically going into value addition of our technology further.
Right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So the thing is, when you made your first sale, was it to a government or was it to a private industry?
Private industry, the largest private dairy in India.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
So we are actually, we were consulting UNIDO. So we were consulting UN body, United Nations Industrial Development Organization.
Right.
So because of that, for the last 3 years, we got access to many large business houses.
Right.
So practically top 50 business houses in India are on my phone contact list.
Right. Okay.
So this is because of my previous startups, while I was trying to sell energy business, this is my connection from last 12 years of trying to sell. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I am not very bullish on the Indian market for the next 2 years. We have the product, but now we're looking at Africa, Australia, and some parts of US.
Okay. Yeah. See, I don't know your marketplace, so I'm not sure what the competition would be in those areas. So it's all I know is that if it comes with a lot of materials and products, that's a tough road.
Yeah. It is unquestionably very tough.
Yeah. Yeah, because if it's a service and I say, hey, I'm maintaining a plant, and I have a service and expertise, that's a lot easier road to hoe. But if you're saying, hey, I'm going to actually build a physical plant, boy, that's expensive. Or build anything that's a physical product, because you always have cost of goods sold.
Yeah, but my motivation to do this was not essentially to well, of course we want to make a lot of money, but we want to make a lot of money through certain value system that we feel that we can do something great for the planet, and then we want to make money. So we understand that we are in an industry which Bill Gates says is the hardest industry to be in, energy. Because
right.
Every time you're trying to make money, regulatory bodies tend to come in. So most regulatory bodies around the world, definitely in India and United States, they want you to pay for their inefficiencies. So they want you to sell power cheaper because they can't do much with the transmission and other systemic losses.
Right.
Or they don't want to do anything. So we already know. And interestingly, I would like to share, I had an access to an MIT paper, business paper, in which they compared 3 industries: software, pharmaceutical, and energy. And the crux of the paper was that the current venture capital model does not work for energy industry because you can't see anything much in less than 10 years.
Right.
And
Yeah, your
venture
horizon.
capital is not designed. Yeah, venture capital is not designed to function like that.
Right.
So one of the things, changes that we have made after learning and doing research on the business side of things is that, like Tesla and SpaceX, we want to make, it's our technology and we want to own the projects.
Right.
So it's not that we have a tech and we are selling it to someone else who goes in, then an investor comes in for that company and own the project. So we want to have less people in the chain so that the return on capital can be at least 15 to 25%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was a great conversation, and we should discuss about regulations and other challenges in our next talk. So thank you for joining us today. And